Now it doesn't tell you how big to draw angle CAD, so I'm just going to draw any old angle. Angle CAD, I don't know, maybe it looks like this. They didn't tell me whether it was acute or obtuse, it doesn't matter. But I do need it to be angle CAD, so the A needs to be the vertex. The C and the D, it doesn't matter which side, one on each side. So I'll put the C here, the D over here, but it doesn't matter. Okay, this is angle CAD. Now you may not be able to see well from your seat, but if this says ray AB, I want ray AB to bisect that angle. Okay? Bisect it means cut it perfectly in half. If it's ray AB, it starts at A and goes out to B. So I need a ray, a one-sided line, that starts at A, goes out to B, and cuts this angle perfectly in half. Can you visualize what that's going to look like? Okay, so hopefully you started at A and try to go right through the middle, something like that, and label it with a B. This would be ray AB. Now, here's the thing about geometry, it's picky. Just because you drew it down the middle in a way that you think is right down the middle doesn't mean that it is. To denote that that's a bisector, it had to cut the angle perfectly in half into two congruent parts. So we need to mark that this angle is congruent to this angle. Okay? Now, different books will denote congruent angles differently. Okay, you can either put one arc in each, like I just did. I could do 2 arcs in each, as long as it's the same number of arcs. Okay, that's one way to denote that. That means that these two are congruent, and if they are congruent, then that is a bisector. Okay, just drawing it does not make it a bisector. You have to denote it. Okay, but having said that, honestly, that's not the most common way that I've seen it. The other way that I see it, I think more commonly, is an arc with 1 slash mark and an arc with 1 slash mark. That means congruent as well, as long as they have the same number of slash marks. Okay? So I could have done 1 in each, or you could do 2 in each. Doesn't really matter. If they have the same number of slash marks, then they are congruent. All right, but the main idea here, it's not a bisector just because you drew it pretty down the middle. It's a bisector when you say this is congruent to this. Okay? All right, so now to take it further, if I told you that this is 24 degrees, then what, boys and girls, is the measure of angle BAD? Duh, 24. What, boys and girls, would be the measure of angle CAD? 48, that's the whole thing, okay? The next thing you're going to do, which I already know you know how to do, the next thing they're going to do is throw some algebra in there. If we had, is everybody good up to now? Okay, if I had other garbage in here or up here in words, and this is some algebra, don't write it down because I'm completely making this up, but there's algebra junk here and algebra junk here, okay? And maybe I even have junk for the whole thing. Then how do you think you would solve for x for this one? Just set them equal and solve. Now, I don't know if I wrote a junk problem, so I don't know if this is going to work out, but whatever. Figure out the relationship. The geometry is that they are equal. Set them equal and solve. Okay? Now, it's possible they give you the whole thing. So if setting them equal doesn't get you anywhere for some reason, then don't forget that this piece plus this piece still has to equal the whole total if I gave that. Okay? Also, if for some reason I give you the whole total or something like that, let's say this is 10x plus 2 or something like that. If this is 2x plus 5, what would this have to be? Also 2x plus 5. So that's also an option. I could also say this plus this is equal to the total. Okay, so I'm going to give you some work today that I actually want you to work on in class. I don't want to be super specific with the lesson. I want you to figure out what equation works. You're either going to set these two things equal, or you're going to say the two pieces equal the total. But be sure to read the words to make sure it's a bisector. And work together, you know, not close or anything, but work together if you get stuck. And don't forget, that's my job, to answer your questions, okay? So I'm going to give you the assignment right away because I think you already know how to do this.